Good morning, Year 9. I'm just providing you here with your work for today. If you just take down today's title, which is ¿Qué haces? At the top of the page there. If you need to work from your textbook, it's page 68. La página 68. And ¿Qué haces? Means what do you do? Okay, so you're describing here what you normally do in a room of your house. Could be your bedroom, could be your kitchen, or whatever, okay? So talking about activities you do in your bedroom and using stem change verbs is your subtitle. Okay, so you can pause the video and then we'll move on. Now, the first thing I would like you to do, girls, is to copy out each of the 10 phrases that we've got here. Let's say them together. Mando mensajes. Mando mensajes. Escucho música. Bebo. Duermo. Escucho música. Bebo. Duermo. Veo la televisión. Juego con el ordenador. Veo la televisión. Juego con el ordenador. Estudio. Estudio. Hablo por teléfono. Hablo por teléfono. Leo libros. Leo libros. Como bocadillos. Como bocadillos. And then what I'd like you to do is copy each of these out now, girls, with their meaning in English, which I'll call out. I send messages. So you will write mando mensajes equals I send messages. Escucho música, I listen to music. Pause if you need to at any point. Bebo, I drink. Duermo, I sleep. Veo la televisión, I watch TV. Juego con el ordenador, I play on the computer. Estudio, I study. Hablo por teléfono, I talk on the phone. Leo libros, I read books. Como bocadillos, I eat sandwiches. Okay. So if you'd like to write, girls, numbers 1 to 10 in your margin, I am now going to call out a number of phrases and I would like you to write down the correct letter. Number 1, hablo por teléfono. Number 2, en mi dormitorio estudio. Number 3, en mi dormitorio mando mensajes. Number 4, a veces como bocadillos en mi dormitorio. Number 5, normalmente juego con el ordenador. Number 6, veo la televisión todos los días. Number 7, a veces bebo Coca-Cola. Number 8, por supuesto, duermo. Number 9, antes de dormir, leo libros. And number 10, escucho música. So your answers are as follows, girls. H is number 1, G is number 2, A is number 3, J 4, F 5, E 6, C 7, D 8, I 9, and B 10. Okay, so I'm going to write a sentence a bit like what you heard. So in my room, en mi dormitorio, I listen to music. Escucho. My pen's about to go, but we'll stick with it. Música. This is like recycling on. Okay, I'll just write that again for you. Música. Okay, so in my room, I listen to music. Can you now write down, girls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And in your margin, I want you to write the following. Number 1. In my sitting room, I study. Pause. Play. And in your answer there, you girls, you would have said, en mi salón estudio. Okay? Now I want you to do the next one. And again, pause after each one. In my kitchen, I watch TV. Play. It's a bit counterintuitive, I know, to watch TV in the kitchen, but many of us do. En mi cocina, veo la televisión. Okay. Number 3. In my bedroom, I sleep. Pause. Play. En mi dormitorio, duermo. I sleep. Duermo. Number 4. In my garden, I listen to music. Pause and then play to get your answer. En mi jardín, escucho música. For number 5, girls, I would like you to write your own sentence with a room in your house, perhaps one not already mentioned, can be mentioned already, there's no problem, and then put a verb and an activity afterwards. And just to have an example of my own down, I should really, giving you the task, I better do the same thing. I could say, for example, en mi comedor, como y bebo. Okay? Brilliant. So can I ask you girls then to underline in those sentences the verbs, the word that means I do something, I study or I sleep. Can you underline that word alone, please? That's right. So you've underlined escucho, estudio, veo, duermo, escucho, como y bebo. Can I ask you to think about what the infinitives of those verbs are? And if you could write those in brackets to the right-hand side. Okay, so the first one there would be escuchar, is right. And second one, estudiar. Forgive my writing. And the third one, ver. And the fourth one, dormir. You might have had to look that one up. And the next one, escuchar. And the last one's comer y beber. Beber. Okay. Out of the verbs that you have just seen, one of them, only one of them, is very, very irregular. And we can look at them now. Escuchar, no, it's fine. Put a wee tick beside it. It's a regular verb. Estudiar, well, that's one of the first verbs you met in first year in the present tense. Definitely fine. Ver is actually okay. Bit weird looking, but not desperately irregular. This is the one here we need to watch out for. So we put a wee exclamation mark beside that. That's one of what we call the stem changing verbs, or 1, 2, 3, 6 verbs, or boot verbs, which we're going to put down in a wee second. That's normal. That follows the rules. That follows the rules of an ER verb, and that follows the rules of an ER verb. So we've got this one to look at here. And we've another verb to look at as well. So if you look back at that list, mando is from mandar, escucho, bebo, duermo, dormir. See the way it's the stem that changes? There's no O there. Veo, from the verb ver, not too bad. Jugar, Jugar, and it's now juego. So it's a stem changing verb as well. This one's normal, this one's normal. That's grand, that's grand. So we're going to look at these stem changing verbs now. So can I ask you girls, just to take a wee look at this verb, jugar. It says here, in stem changing verbs, the middle letters, I should say, the letters that kind of come after the first letter, change in some forms in the present tense. Sometimes, yes, it can be a bit further into the verb, but mostly it's kind of near the start or towards the middle. So, for example, the verb jugar, really when you look at it, it should be, you would think, there's the infinitive, yeah. So normally what we do, isn't it, we take the last two letters off, we call that the infinitive ending, and we're left with a stem that I've just underlined, to which you then add the endings. But that is not correct. Okay, that is incorrect. That verb is different from what you'd expect. It isn't a regular verb in that sense. It's a stem changing verb. That word there actually means gravy, and you don't want to say gravy, you want to say I play. So let's take a look at the example here. You'll notice that it's in the infinitive you. Yes, see that? But in the stem changer here, it becomes ue. So let's just say the verb together. Juego, juegas, juega. Jugamos, jugáis, juegan. Very good. And if you notice there as well, only 4 parts of that verb had the change. The 4th part of the verb and the 5th part of the verb did not have a change. If you look there, it is a you there in the infinitive, and it's just a you there. So that's kind of what you'd expect the verb to do. Like if it was a regular verb. But it does have these changes then in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th part. The other name we have for these verbs is the 1, 2, 3, 6 verb. Or sometimes we call them just the stem changing verbs. We also call them a boot verb, and this is the bit I want you to take down in your grammar book. So grammar point, and it is stem changing verbs. And we also call those 1, 2, 3, 6 verbs, or boot verbs. And why is that? Well, we're just going to show you now. So we've got, for example, the verb jugar. And underneath that, we're going to write juego, underline the the UE, juegas, underline the UE, juega, underline the UE, but then write the rest of it on this side. Jugamos, don't underline anything. Jugáis, and the last one, juegan, underline the UE. Now, what we're going to do then is we're going to draw a wee sort of ellipsis round jugar, and then we're going to do the shape of a boot here actually. So the boot goes out here at that side. Now, it's not like if you went to the shop and bought boots like that, I think your friends would be having a wee bit of a field day and saying, oh, not much, they're not great, those ones. So that's why they're called, girls, boot verbs, because as you can see, they fit within the boot. The changes fit within the boot. And the other name we said we gave them was the 1, 2, 3, 6 verb, wasn't it? So if you look here, it was only the 3 circled parts that were changed. Okay? So what I need you to do now, girls, is to copy that verb. You might pause that now, okay? So if you pause this, and then what I want you to do is to go to the orange box on page 68, and I want you to copy out the verb dormir, which follows exactly the same structure. You might want to copy it out as a wee bit, just exactly like that one there, but I would definitely put your wee numbers there beside that just to make sure that that works okay. So you can pause that now, girls, and make sure you get that down and that down. You might just need to take it down from page 68 directly and do that in your grammar book. Now, dormir, if you look at it just briefly, we had the same idea. It was an O here, wasn't it? But it changed to UE, UE. And then the same thing again, 4 and 5 were normal, dormimos, dormis. By the way, the endings are perfectly fine. Do you remember for an AR verb, it's o, asa, amos, aisan? So that's normal. The endings are grand. It's the stem. And this one's the same. IR verbs, you'll remember your endings are o, s, a, imos, is, n. So they're normal. It's just that wee bit there. Okay? And then if you take the 2 examples down. So tonight, girls, you're going to do 2 things for me. The first one's actually based on the first task that you did. You're going to write down the question that appeared earlier. What do you do in your room? ¿Qué haces en tu dormitorio? And I want you to write out the conversations for 1, 2, 3, 4 here on page 68, activity 2. For example, number 1 is done. ¿Qué haces en tu dormitorio? Mando mensajes, bebo Coca-Cola y escucho música. So it's nice and easy. I want you to do all 4 of those. Okay? And the other thing I would like you to do then, girls, is a wee bit of work just on the stem changing verbs towards the back of the book. And it's on page 130. Stem changing verbs B. I want you just to make sure that you understand everything that we did today in class. There's the 2 verbs that we copied out. They've given you another one here. But what I would like you to do is really read those 3 verbs carefully, and then I want you to do exercise 16 and 17, if you would, on page 131. Okay? So that's 3 things. That's activity 2, page 68, this one here, and activity 16 and 17, page 131. Gracias, chicas. Thank you.